Today, we're going to talk about something pretty incredible. A story about how one small community in northern Thailand is pioneering a powerful solution to climate change. It's all about how they are literally healing a mountain and, what that might mean for the rest of us. Okay, let's jump right in.
You've heard the headlines. It's not global warming anymore. The UN has started using the phrase global boiling, and the data backs it up. The IPCC says global temperatures are already up 1.1 degrees Celsius, and that's fueling the crazy floods, droughts, and heat waves we're seeing everywhere. When you're facing a problem that massive, it is so easy to feel completely powerless. I mean, where do you even start? But what if some of the best solutions, the most powerful ones, are actually starting small? To find that hope, we're going to zoom way in, all the way to a specific place, the province of Nan in northern Thailand. This is a region that's right on the front lines. For them, climate change isn't some abstract future threat. It is a daily, dangerous reality.
Okay, so first things first, let's really get a handle on what this community is up against. The challenges they're facing are kind of a miniature version of the global crisis, but with some very unique, very local twists.
The geography here is just precarious. It's on a knife's edge. We're talking high altitude, with these incredibly steep slopes that geographers have literally described as being like a slide. The topsoil is super thin, which means every time it rains hard, the very ground their farms are built on just washes away. This leads to this constant, terrible cycle of erosion, floods, and landslides. And to top it all off, this is a critical headwater, the source of water for millions downstream.
And you can really feel the human toll of this crisis. For so long, the local farmers here were blamed for deforestation when really, they were just trying to survive. This quote from Anak Sansung, he's a Aum Mue farmer, it just perfectly captures that feeling of frustration, but also you can hear that deep, powerful desire to change the narrative.
So you have this perfect storm, right? A vulnerable landscape, economic pressure. What do? Well, this community, with help from scientists and local groups, decided to do something radical. They decided to turn their mountain into a living laboratory.
And the big idea at the heart of their experiment is something called agroecology. Now that sounds kind of technical, I know, but the concept is actually beautiful and simple. It's about farming with nature instead of against it. So instead of fighting the mountain, they decided to work with it, to farm in a way that actually mimics a natural forest.
They built the whole project on 4 key pillars. See, it's not just about planting things differently. It's a whole system. It's about saving soil and water, sure, but it's also about building a modern disaster warning system, testing out new ideas on pilot farms, and, this is key, developing social enterprises so that doing the right thing for the environment also puts money in your pocket.
All right, so how did they actually do it? This is where the theory hits the dirt. And what's amazing is that it's not about bringing in a bunch of expensive machines. It's about community, human ingenuity, and literally healing the land by hand. I mean, just look at this comparison. It tells the whole story. The old way was monoculture, just fields of corn or cabbage, which caused massive soil erosion and trapped farmers in debt from buying chemicals. The new way? They're creating these diverse food forests. They've swapped soil loss for trapping sediment in water. They've replaced chemical dependency with organic farming. And maybe most importantly, they've traded a culture of debt and blame for one of self-reliance and cooperation. It's a total transformation. And the tools they're using are these brilliant, low-tech, high-impact solutions. They're out there digging these winding canals, they call them chicken intestines, that snake across the hills to slow rainwater down. They're building small dams by hand to catch precious soil. They're creating terraces to make flat, stable ground. And they're planting this stuff called vetiver grass, whose deep roots basically act like natural rebar, holding the whole mountain together. But maybe the most powerful tool they're using isn't a physical one at all. It's the revival of this traditional practice called Aum Mue Samakkee, which basically means working together as a community. As Jamlong, one of the plot owners, says, they're seeing people come together to help each other out, for free. They're not just rebuilding the land, they're rebuilding the fabric of their community.
So what happens when you combine ancient wisdom with modern science and a whole lot of community spirit? Well, the results aren't just feel-good. They are measurable, they are tangible, and frankly, they are staggering.
Let's look at the numbers because they are just wild. First, the scale we're talking about here. The goal is to restore 300,000 rai of forest area. For perspective, that's about 120,000 acres. It's huge. And all of that restored forest, all those new trees and plants, they're projected to pull 45,000 tons of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere every single year. That's a real global impact starting right there on that one mountain.
And here's the kicker. This isn't just an environmental story. By shifting to these diverse food forests and creating new products, the community is generating an extra 10 million Thai baht. That's around $270,000 in new income annually. They are proving that you can heal the planet and build wealth at the exact same time.
So how do you calculate all that value? There's actually a metric for this called a social return on investment, or SROI. It doesn't just look at profit. It adds in the value of things like carbon credits, lower healthcare costs from less chemical use, and the money saved by preventing disasters. And the result? For an investment of about 83 million baht, the project generates over 27 million in value per year. That works out to an incredible 33% annual return.
The thing to remember is, this was never meant to be just one feel-good story from a faraway village. The whole project was designed from day one to be a blueprint, a model for resilience that could be copied, adapted, and scaled up all over the world.
And they have a really clear roadmap. They started small. Phase 1 was just 40 farmers on 5 test plots. Now, they're in Phase 2, expanding to 300 farmers across 15 districts. The ultimate goal here is to create what they're calling the Sri Nan Model, a proven, replicable framework that the whole province can adopt, and then, hopefully, the whole world.
Professor Santi Payalopoulos, the geographer who studied this area, he told the farmers something really powerful. He said, look, the natural tendency of this land, its geology, is to fall apart. So if you succeed here, if you make this land stable and fertile again, it won't be an accident. It's because you did it. He said, you are the ones who resurrected this land. And that really brings us to the final thought, doesn't it? If this handful of villagers, against all the odds, can literally re-engineer an entire mountain with their own 2 hands, it just makes you stop and wonder, what could your community do?